with what Coach Prime has done from the end of last season to the beginning of this one, and we've yet to begin, if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. Like you are willfully looking the other way. If you think that this roster, this coaching staff, because you didn't just make changes in the players, you made significant
Right.
changes on the coaching staff. If you can't see that the arrow is pointing more up than it was a year ago, you just don't want to see it.
Or either you're a part of just the old establishment of we got to build for 17 years or something before you can win. Well, that time has come and gone, big dog, and especially for a guy like Coach Prime and the staff that he's put together, like you said, that can bring in, identify first of all, and bring in talented guys who fits with the players you already have. As director of player personnel Corey Phillips said on your recent interview, give us some more gems that he dropped during that interview. As you guys can go check that out, the full thing on the pregame show page right now. Tell us some few things that Corey Phillips dropped on you.
Man, I just love when he leaned into the camera and said, "Get close," because we coming. You about to see this, and I done told you. Man, the thought process that they put into not only just how they evaluate players, but if that player will fit with the current locker room. You're not just
Mm-hmm.
going out there and getting the offensive lineman because he's got some good stats or good strength or good weight, good length. You're going out there getting all of that plus a guy that can work well with the other linemen you have in Shedeur Sanders, who fits the culture of the team, who's trying to play on Sundays, who's more focused on the NFL and not the NIL, all those little nuggets like that. And so that's the part that I'm willing to give Feinbaum a little room and say maybe he doesn't know those things. But if
Right.
you really look at what's going on with this program, whether it's a 30,000-foot view or a 3-foot view in the room, this is a totally revamped operation and team, organizational culture, structure, you name it. This team is built to be relevant this year. This is not a patience game or a waiting game. These guys are going to make noise this year.
And Coach Prime has the pulse, of his players, of his team, and everybody around him. And people wonder how can he be so confident? How can he talk like that? How can he? Well, that's because if you'll be confident if you know what's going on around you. If you know what you have, regardless of what people think you may have. If you know, then you can be confident about that. Um, One guy that left the team, unfortunately, he's back in the news now for alleged reasons. I'll say that. And I know you heard, but the young fella who we all wish the best for, of course, Cormani McClain, looked like allegedly there's been some problems going on down at the University of Florida, where he's now a preferred walk-on. And there's a lot of people been speculating the reasons why he's a preferred walk-on, whether they didn't have scholarships or they kind of giving him a tryout right now. Whatever it is, the word is that he's doing exactly or not doing the things that he's supposed to be doing, but going right along with some of the words that Coach Prime said upon his exit. How do you feel about Cormani McClain and the current issues going on with the young fellow?
Well, one thing I want to just start with, whether he was at Colorado or now at Florida, wish him nothing but the absolute best and all success in the world. And anything that any coach in America can do to help a guy succeed, they're going to be willing to do it. Particularly a young black man, from Florida, as Coach Fromm likes to call them Florida boys. So really pulling for him and hopes he can make it in Florida or get somewhere where he can make it. Having said that, when he departed from Colorado. And Coach Prime was really silent about a lot of the issues leading up to that departure. He threw some shots back, talked about that he wanted to go play where he could be developed and go play where it wasn't about clicks. And so when I see the alleged issues that are taking place at Florida, and some people have said that are speculated that it's going to lead or has led to a dismissal from the team, I can also say I'm really not that surprised because we've seen that movie before. I was in the room when Coach Prime gave him 3 opportunities and 3 specific things to do in order to start the next week, and he failed or did not even really make an effort at doing any of the 3. Like he hit the trifecta on it, and so I think there were some issues with his desire to play, his willingness to play, or at least play in the Coach Prime system. And when you shoot shots and saying that you didn't think you could be developed there, when you got a Kevin Mathis, who played a secondary NFL, when you got Rob Livingston, who was a scout and coach for the secondary in the NFL. And when you got Coach Prime, who is a Hall of Famer in the secondary in the NFL, I don't know what you're looking for to be developed. So again, man, I will close how I started. Wish him nothing but the best and helps it works out in Florida. But should it not, hope he finds somewhere where it does work out. But I think that people will see that this was not a Coach Prime issue because you didn't have
Mm.
anybody else leaving, saying the same thing. And then if the same thing happens at another place, maybe the problem wasn't your location. Maybe you're the problem and you keep moving the problem because the problem is you.
Oh man, common denominator is what it goes back to. Well, we got one young fella who's doing the right thing, but just can't get the ball in the basket, should I say? Number 55 pick for the Lakers, of course. LeBron James Jr. Still struggling right now, but you got guys ranked or drafted way higher than him, like Alexander Sarr, who has went 0 for 15 in his last summer league game. Uh, is that something to be worried about? Should we be really pressing about Bronny and him not shooting well right now? What's the issue with Bronny James?
I think the issue is that he gets measured by a different standard because of who his father is. And you see that same thing happen with anybody who plays for Colorado, particularly people who have the same last name as Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. So it's the same sheet of music, same song, where people just want to have a different level of scrutiny in what they say is successful or not. I think the just or fair thing to do is not compare Bronny's numbers to other people's numbers unless they would pick 55 or later. Because when you look at summer
Mm,
league and you see people picked in the top 10 and they're struggling because they're rookies. They're struggling because it's a new environment. But you've also seen, as Paul Pierce pointed out, you've seen guys kick nothing but butt in the summer league, and then when the
right.
season starts, they disappear, get cut, don't even make it through training camp. I think summer
Yeah.
league is just that. It's just an evaluation. It's time to get exposure. It's like spring ball in college football. It doesn't mean anything, but it can be indicators. And I think there are some indicators that Bronny needs to, work on his shot. And I think right now it's probably a confidence thing more than an
Hmm.
ability thing and just blocking out that noise. But when you look at people drafted number 2 overall and drafted in the lottery in the top picks, and they ain't making buckets either, I just say,
Right.
man, give Bronny some time. Like he will prove that he is capable of playing in the NBA.
I think so. Also, we've seen Trey Young struggle in his summer league game.
He
You saw a
did.
guy like you mentioned. I think his name was Paul McCraw, something like that. For 2 years, he killed it in the summer league, but really couldn't break it in the regular season. He went played with the Lakers, I think, and with the Raptors, but you never really heard from him after those summer league games. So, take it with a grain of salt. Let Bernie James get his feet wet and learn the game. And those shots will start dropping. I think once he get around his dad and get even more comfortable, those shots will drop whether he playing G League or not. He'll be fine. He'll be just fine. And still on my prediction of Christmas Day is when I think we'll see Bernie James in a Laker uniform next to his dad.
I love your prediction, man. That's made for TV. That's a movie. That's a movie 20 years from now. I forgot when you mentioned a couple shows back that they play on Christmas Day. The Lakers, just like the Cowboys always play. On Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a wonderful time to bring him out. He can be developing all that time, and uh, man, just the history. I mean, like Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. went back to back home runs one game. Just think if they can go back to back dunks or
That's
back to back
crazy.
threes, if Bronny can do that Dwayne Wade alley oop that they had in Miami, like yeah,
Throw
that
him a
was that.
lob.
Come on, man. Like I player, why they hate? I don't know what is there to hate about this, man. Like this is beautiful.
Hey, someone said Shilo told Coach Prime, hey, we're gonna need that Bronny James treatment, or see if you can pull a LeBron to get us both drafted by the Raiders. I don't know how true that was. I saw a meme saying that. I don't know whether Shilo actually said that or did somebody make that. But hey, I don't think Coach
Somebody
Prime would have to pull a LeBron. I don't think he would have to. I think they would want to or welcome to bring in both of those guys.
yeah, it's just categorically how the draft unfolds and what your needs are. But I think a team would love to do that. there are a lot of people out there who are putting words in Shedeur's mouth or Coach Prime or Shiloh's mouth. And one thing I can tell y'all unequivocally, they ain't never said where they want to go. They're not out there talking
Right.
about, I want to play for this team or that team. They're focused on this season and getting drafted to the NFL, wherever that falls, so be it. So if you ever see something out there where it says Shedeur wants to go to the Jets or wants to go to, he ain't say that. They don't. Not only they're not talking about that publicly, they don't talk like that privately.
Right. And so, yeah, that's why I was like, when I saw that post, I was like, man, I don't think he said that. And if he did say it, he wouldn't put it out there and
Yeah,
say, hey,
it's like,
you
think
know,
about Shiloh. He could say something like that relative to the Raiders. Let me give you a scenario as to why. One, he's a jokester. In media
right.
day was in Las Vegas, and it was at the Raiders Stadium. And
Mm,
one thing that people also have to realize is that the Raiders head coach is part of the Smack family. Like he's managed,
right.
by Constance and those guys over at Smack. So there are some internal and external relationships that make a statement like that. Whereas it's funny, it could be like, well, damn, that could happen. But
Right.
they're not in serious matters out there publicly saying where they want to play and that kind of stuff. That's not taking
Right.
place.
Yeah. Because it's many teams that we would love. And I know a lot of fan bases would love to see both of them play for, including Travis or whatever. So it just depends on where the draft falls and things like that. We'll see
Yeah.
how that works out. But first, we got to get through this season, dog. And it starts August the 29th. Well, is that right? Get my dates right. Yeah, August
Yeah.
the 29th, North Dakota
Yeah.
State coming to Boulder, where it's colder, but it won't be colder during then because just like last year, hopefully it'll be this year where the weather is perfect for all of those home games. Like you couldn't beat the weather this past year. So hopefully it'll be like
Yeah,
that this year
absolutely.
and
And
we
man,
can enjoy it.
even the road games, it only had that mist or rain in there one game, and that was Washington State. And hell, it rains there every day, so you couldn't count that against it. We never had rain
You
or
can
snow
count.
during a home game.
Can you
You know,
count? Can you count the heat though? Can you count the heat? Because Arizona State was hot as
but
fish
but
grease,
but,
boy.
but Chico, much like Washington is gonna rain, we
I
can't
know
make it
it's
not be hot in
always
Arizona. Like it's going.
right, but goodness gracious.
Hey,
Oh, I was like, man,
it's some prayers, big dog, that when the Lord see him, he just like you got to be calm. I know y'all
you
ain't
got to
praying.
deal with this one. You
Yeah,
got to deal with this one now.
put that over in this pile, man.
I was like, man, you know what? I'm not playing this game. I'm not dressing out. I'm going back to the hotel and get up under this air conditioner, dog, because this is ridiculous.
We'll tell you this
Right?
now. Utah was cold. Yeah,
Utah.
Utah was
Okay,
cold.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
like I need gloves on. Like it was that kind of cold out there. But
Mm,
all the other games, man, were just perfect football weather, no matter the location. So we go to Lubbock, Texas. We go to Orlando, Florida. You go to Nebraska early on. Probably the only opportunity that you got just for some. I don't know how the weather is going to be. Is maybe when you go to Kansas City, Missouri,
yep.
later in the season. That it could flip out there, or that last game Thanksgiving weekend at home. But if it's anything like last year, man, it was dreamboat weather on game days. It's
Exactly.
only the spring game that the weather go crazy.
Right, for whatever reason. So, hey, we'll take it if that's the case. If we can get a season of nice weather for a bad weather spring game, I think I'll take that each and every time. Coach Prime probably will too. So, hey, for everybody out there, y'all know what to do, man. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, get in the chat, let us know what y'all thinking. If you want to be a part of this, if you want to sponsor, advertise, or whatever, contact, hit us up right there. You get your ad up here. You can have us wearing your merch. Just hit us up, inbox right now, Uncle Neely, Big Dog Chico, and we'll get back to you. Whatever you want to leave them with, go ahead. Give a shout out to
And
Jackson,
man, if
Mississippi
you
for
if
sure.
you if you got any questions or any topics you want to address, put those in the comments. We read the comments on both channels, no matter which platform you're watching on. Same thing when we do chop ups of the show on other social media platforms. Got a question, man? Put it in there. We're gonna see it. May not have the opportunity to respond on that platform, but we will work it into the show and give you a shout out as well. Chico, this is another one in the books, man. Like we just stacking and dropping these things. Let's just keep going, man.
Stacking and dropping, flipping, like they say in the hood. But we'll get back to that another time. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on Facebook also. 24,000 strong, 25,000 strong on Facebook, The Pregame Show. Also, Big Dog Chico Sports Talk. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, comment out, other good stuff. We're going to be up in about the same piece in the Middle East. Yeah. UNK and CHICO, we out.
The media will run out and find people who've left here and try to grab those stories, but they don't call up those guys that stayed and been here and fought through it and have made this team under a Coach Prime standard. Like that's where the story is.
First half was a little sloppy that first quarter, had some uncharacteristic penalties, both sides of the ball. The defense really stepped up in that second quarter, got us back in the game. We got the ball first because we deferred. If we score on this drive, when we score on this drive, ball game over, they're going to fold.